Good friggin' morning, people. It is finally time to go and see the side of Australia that it is famous for, so that is exciting. We've got probably about a 2-hour drive ahead of us, so no time to waste. Let's get right into it. There's a lot of huge mines in this area, so to my right there's just an absolutely humongous mine. Which I don't know anything about. I can't tell you anything about it, unfortunately, other than that it's there and it is very large. We've made it back onto roady roads. I can't think of any better way to describe them than that. Alright, we've just arrived at Tomaree, which is just a beautiful national park on the beach. Naturally, because it's easy to access and beautiful, there's a lot of people here. Right now I'm down at the beach, but I want to get up there to the top of the Tomaree lookout. That was easier than expected. I didn't actually record any audio while I was up here because there were heaps of people trying to enjoy the view and I didn't want to ruin it with me going, "What's up guys, I'm back." On one side you can see the bay and the beach and all the boats and people in there. And on the other side you can see the Tasman Sea and the little islands. And then out into the ocean off the coast of Australia. On the walk up to the lookout, you could just tell that it was going to be incredible. Through the trees you could see the sky and the ocean peeking through, and every now and again you get a clear unobstructed view and there'll just be people there just standing, stopping, looking. No wonder it's such a popular spot with views like that. I may have missed the gun emplacements at Lithgow, but I haven't missed the ones here at Fort Tomaree. Or what was once Fort Tomaree anyway. The ones in Lithgow were intended to protect the steel manufacturers as well as the small arms factory against aircraft, so they were anti-aircraft guns. Whereas the ones here, because we're right on the coast, are intended to protect against naval ships in a ground assault. So anti-tank and that kind of nature. But they were still intended to protect the steel industry in the Newcastle area and also further inland. Fortunately, the guns were never actually used in an act of defence, and where they stand, or where they once stood, remains intact. There's one just behind me here and one further down that way. This is a second gun emplacement just behind me here. As you can see, if I turn you around, and as you've seen before, the bay is just entirely open, which is why it was needing of protection, because otherwise it was just bound for ships to come in and land on the coast of Port Stephens and launch an attack towards the steel factory. Or at least that was the understanding at the time. Fortunately, it never came into fruition. Maybe it was because of the gun emplacements, maybe they just didn't know the terrain well enough. When I was walking up to the lookout, there were these two girls talking about England, and one of them was telling the other about a fact about England. And as I walked past, I said, "Did you know that in England they have a day called Crumpet Day, where they have to eat a crumpet for breakfast, lunch and dinner? And everyone has to do it, and if they don't, then they can go to jail?" I don't really know why I said that. It just made me laugh, and honestly, the more I think about it, the more I believe that it's probably true. Oh, and also, somehow, on the way back I walked past this little place and it just said, Sea Life Museum, free entry. So I thought, why not? And this is what I saw. There was a story of a turtle that they helped to rehabilitate and let back into the bay. But then also one of a sea snake, which I'm not sure really how I felt about that one, but I guess it's their home after all. We're just visiting, so you can't steal that. Finally, when I got back to the bottom, I went for a nice little swim. The water was a little bit cold, but refreshing nonetheless. So yeah, now I'm back in the car. Don't worry, I definitely will be going back to the beach today, but first there's a few other things I have to do because I'm out of food and almost out of clothes, so I need to do some cooking and some washing. Before I can do any of that, I need to go shopping, find the campsite, and find the facilities that I can use because there is hopefully a laundromat where I can wash my clothes and dry them, which will be ideal, and then also probably a cooking area, but I'll end up using my own stove anyway, I think. Probably not going to impress Gordon Ramsay with this meal, but it's a meal nonetheless, and it's going to be my food for the next week, which is just so much easier to have one day where I cook and then the rest is just being lazy, either reheating or eating it cold. Alright, shopping trip complete. We got, what do we get? We got some bread, some sausages, some Pringles, some grapes, some tomatoes, corn, and some other snacks. Overall, good haul. $40 for a week of shopping isn't bad. Now that means we can head off to the campsite, part 2. See you in a bit. Alright, we've arrived at the campsite. It looks beautiful. This is the place itself. I've actually changed the settings on the camera so it turns off instantly, so I have no idea whether you could see that. But anyway, I'm at C38. The plan right now is to go and use the laundry facilities as soon as possible before it gets too late and too busy, and if there's not a dryer before it gets too cold. So I'll go and do that, and then while I'm out, I'll check out the kitchen facilities. Maybe I'll cook there, or maybe I'll just cook on the barbecue over here. We'll have to have a look. The beach access path is literally right behind me there, which is just perfect. There's a nice beach just behind me there, which we'll go and check out after we get all the important stuff done. So, food acquired, laundry now, maybe cook before going to the beach, or maybe go to the beach. I'll decide in a bit. I don't know why, I guess I was just feeling really optimistic, but for some reason I thought that the laundry in the campsite would be free, because seeing as you're already paying for the campsite, you get the services, but I was wrong, and fair enough. The washing machines were $6 and the dryers were also $6, so I thought, well, I guess I don't really want to be spending that money, especially because I have to do a light wash and a dark wash, and then dry it as well, so why don't I wash all the stuff by hand, and then seeing as it's getting late, I'll then use the dryer. So I came back, washed all the stuff by hand. Well, actually, I came back, boiled some water, washed half of it by hand, and then realised, hang on, surely they have taps and sinks down there that I can use. So then that's what I did for the second half, and I washed it, and then rinsed it, and then chucked it all in the dryer. And the dryer took 45 minutes, so I came back while the dryer was on and started cooking dinner. So the plan is to cook a sausage, pasta, and tomato sauce dish, which I'll keep for a couple of days, and then also just keep some sausages on the side that I can have as snacks, all while the laundry's going, so yeah, hopefully I get them both done at the same time. This was the first point where I started to overestimate my skills and underestimate how much time everything took. So in that 45 minutes, all I managed to actually do was boil the pasta and put the sauce on it. Then I had to pack everything up, go back to the dryer, which finished about 5 minutes after I got there, so good time on that at least, get all the stuff out. But then another problem, when I took the stuff out the dryer, I don't even know that it was actually drier than when I put it in, but it's definitely not dry. So the stuff's damp, but it's 5 o'clock, so it's too dark now for me to, hang it up in the sun to dry. So now I just have damp clothes in a box, and the double problems. Firstly, don't leave damp clothes like that. But secondly, that's all of my clothes. So that's why I'm sitting here now. The clothes are on the front seat, and I don't have pajamas, so I'm wearing my Croatia kit. Beautiful kit, by the way. I love this kit. I love Croatia. They're probably my second team whenever I'm watching anything. Anyway, getting sidetracked. So yeah, the stuff's still wet. But it is what it is. I come back, continue cooking, did the sausages, the tomatoes, corn, everything else, chucked it all in. I also cooked 8 extra sausages, so 4 pork, 4 beef sausages extra, which I'm just going to eat, which is what I had for dinner tonight, actually. And it's not quite a meal that will impress Gordon Ramsay, but it will at least impress most Australians. It's an Australian delicacy called a snag. A little bit of bread, a little bit of sausage, a little bit of sauce. I chose barbecue sauce because that's all I have. And honestly, I'd choose barbecue sauce anyway. It's a great sauce. But yeah, by the time I finished cooking and then cleaning, it was already dark. And so I went to head down to the beach, but I was walking down the path and it's pretty much pitch black, not quite, but almost. And I can hear, I'm going to say snakes, I don't know what, but I can just hear the stuff moving around in the bushes beside me as I'm walking down this sandy path. And I'm just thinking, well, what am I actually going to do here? It doesn't really matter about them. They're more scared of me than I am of them. But then I'll get to the beach. It's pitch black. I can't really go in the water. I'm a bad swimmer as is. Not really. But anyway, pitch black swim is probably not the vibe. So sorry about that. I'll go tomorrow morning, I guess. Tomorrow the plan is actually to go, biggest spoiler of the trip so far. Tomorrow the plan is to go to another beach, which I would say looks nicer. I'd actually never heard of until I started researching where I wanted to go. But yeah, it looks super nice, and I think it will make up for it hopefully. But yeah, it doesn't matter either way. I'll go to this beach tomorrow morning. Is a cool beach, and I'll also explore the campsite and show you around because I think there's a pool, a jumping pillow, and a bunch of other facilities that I just haven't even seen yet. I only took 12 photos today, but not for the reason that you thought. Right when I got to the very summit of Mount Tomaree, I took the camera out, took a couple of photos, and then boom, it died. And I thought in that moment that the last photo I took would have been the one for today because it just seemed so fitting. But when I was looking back over the photos, there's one that I took just a couple before, and there was something about the color of the water in that photo. It was different to the water in every other one, and I can't think of any reason why it would have been, but there was just something so drawing about the color of that water. I've been sitting here thinking about different names for this photo. I mean, there are so many things that it could be called, based on it being the sea, based on it being, the border of our world, based on so many different things. But I think it's most beautiful for its simplicity, which is why the name should also be simple. And what could be more simple than the name of the place that it actually is? So this is it, number 8, Tomaree. Every single time I try to figure out where I want to rank something in this list, I just find myself saying, the list is cooked. The list is so cooked. Because I feel like every single one of these images could be in first so easily. And I honestly don't know, it could just depend on this split-second decision, whether it's literally first or last. It's just insane. But I think where I'm most satisfied putting this image is in fourth. So that's where it will sit.